You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, this case involving these 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans that tragically lost their lives in the backyard, we guess. Could have been in the house. We don't know. After a Kansas City Chiefs watch party the case is getting more bizarre. Now we've got the girlfriend that was frantically looking for her boyfriend. We've got the details of the discovery of the bodies. And guys, this is wild. I mean, people are starting to wonder now, look, were these guys poisoned? I did a video last night where there's speculation of could there be some kind of criminal charges that are going to end up coming out of this? Fentanyl, cocaine, preliminary toxicology reports back. The fact is, a lot of people don't know what to believe. Hell, I don't know what to believe. I don't. But it is so odd that nobody was able to get to this guy. But I know a lot of these pathologists and these doctors are saying, well, look, he was sleeping off the same thing they were sleeping off, except he happened to be in the house, so he lived through it and didn't freeze to death, basically. Whatever the case may be, this is nuts. It's truly crazy. And I have a feeling this is just going to continue to unravel, and there's going to be more and more mystery. I mean, you see this headline. Did the suburban Walter White, of course, the famous character from Breaking Bad, poison his friends? You know, played by, man, I can't believe I can't remember the guy's name all of a sudden. April Mahoney was so desperate to find her missing fiancé, Clayton McGinney, that she took matters into her own hands a little after 9 p.m. on January 9. She pounded fruitlessly for 10 minutes on the door of the Kansas City, Missouri rental belonging to Jordan Willis, where McGinney and his friends were last seen 2 days earlier. Then she broke in through a basement window, yelling to see if there was anybody in the house, a relative told the Post. Next, she walked upstairs, looked out the large windows, and saw a grisly taboulet on the snow-covered patio. I don't know if I said that word or not right, but you get the point. She saw a body. Mahoney first spotted the frozen body of one man, David Harrington, seated upright in a lawn chair. She was so upset she didn't immediately see that her fiancé was also dead on the ground, besides a third man, Ricky Johnson, who was also dead. Quote, April saw David and she totally panicked and almost couldn't breathe and called the police. Clayton's uncle, Jim McGinney, told the Post. The cops showed up within minutes and Jordan opens the door, no problem, wearing his boxers and holding an empty wine glass. Wait a minute. She pounded on the door. He wouldn't open the door for her, but he just opened the door for the cops. Oh, that's certainly interesting. That's certainly interesting. And that's her right there. That is Clayton McGinney. Wow. Since then, the mystery of how McGinney, 36, Harrington, 37, and Johnson, 38, died seemingly simultaneously in the snowy backyard, while Willis, their host, 38-year-old HIV research scientist and Wuhan virus scientist, said he was sleeping for 48 hours and had no idea his buddies had expired, and full view of the house has only deepened. The temperature in the backyard in the early mornings of January 8, when the men died, was just about freezing. Preliminary toxicology results Thursday indicated the men died from the effects of cocaine and fentanyl. Well, that's not exactly how this is put, or at least some of the pathologists. I know the pathologist that was on Fox News said probably what happened is the fentanyl knocked them out, and then essentially the hypothermia and then cardiac arrest followed suit. But that doesn't mean this can't turn criminal, because of the drugs involved here. That's the thing. Who has responsibility for having provided that? That's a whole different... And we find out that this guy's actually got a nickname, the Chemist. This is nuts. The toxicology reports were not publicly released by the Kansas City police, but some bereaved relatives were briefed on their contents. See, they're not all the way out yet. The full results aren't here. 2 family members told News Nation that the bodies contain 3 times the amount of fentanyl needed to kill somebody. Okay, maybe the fentanyl did kill them. But the friends and family of the dead men say many questions still unanswered, especially about Willis. More than one person said it sounded like the Breaking Bad TV series come to life. Willis has a Ph.D. from Vanderbilt. As an HIV vaccine researcher, he worked both at the International AIDS Vaccine Initiative Neutralizing Antibodies Center in La Jolla, California, and he's from Kansas City. Yeah, he actually did go to school with these guys. His academic resume includes 55 published papers, 5 times the academic output of ex-Harvard president Claudine Gay. Well, that's not a big stretch, okay? The comparison of them, that's not a big stretch. Did he plagiarize everything? Inquiring minds would love to know. And an award from Scripps Consortium for HIV/AIDS for his contribution to the development of an HIV vaccine. This is one smart son of a bitch, but it makes you wonder, is he smart/evil/conniving? Yeah, I mean, this is getting real. But his dead friends, they all met at Park Hill High School a mile away, had more blue-collar jobs. McGinney worked construction. Harrington was a flooring contractor. Oh, there's more scenes of the backyard right there. Some friends and family have commented to each other in the media that Willis might have cooked up something extra in the drugs the men took that night. A source close to the family disputed that, speaking to Fox News Digital. Willis was arrested and charged with misdemeanor DUI in 2011 in Tennessee. Did not know that. According to public records, hardly the mark of Midwestern Walter White, and has no further criminal record. The mad scientist's agenda is absolutely ridiculous, the source said. The fact is, he's a scientist is irrelevant, but not everyone is convinced. Quote, a bunch of people reached out to Clayton's sister and told her that Willis was known as the Chemist in high school, Jim McGinney told the Post. They said he would go to parties, make people feel good with drugs he enhanced. I don't know if he concocted something or not that night. The police won't tell us anything. April said is all tore up. She barely wants to talk. The funeral for Clayton was very tough, and they were together for years and had a great life. Willis, the 3 dead men, and a 5th friend gathered at the 4-bedroom rental in the suburban Northland sprawl, 20 minutes north of downtown Kansas City, sometime after the Chiefs defeated the Chargers at SoFi 13-12 in early evening of January 7. The 5th man, Alex Lee Whammer, arrived at the home at 7 p.m., told the police that when he left at 12:01 a.m., all men were up and watching a rerun of Jeopardy. This is absolutely nuts. Early on the morning of January 9, both Mahoney and Johnson's mom, Norma Chester, texted Weimer Lee, asking where the men were. Weimer Lee then texted Willis, both on his phone and via Facebook, but apparently never answered. That night around 7 p.m., a close friend of the men, Dakota Latier, pounded on Willis's door for about 20 minutes, got no response. Then Mahoney came by 2 hours later, saw 2 vehicles belonging to the deceased out front, and knocked on the door herself before breaking in a tiny basement window, getting access to the backyard, and making her deadly discovery. She called police, who arrived 10 minutes later. This time Willis answered the door right away. He was handcuffed briefly, but released without charge. Cops said there were no evidence of foul play. And it goes on to talk about the pathologist we talked about the other day in a video where it was essentially, if they took the fentanyl, it knocked them out. Then the cold sets in, they go into hyperthermia, and then the heart goes nuts from the cold, and it sends them into cardiac arrest, which ultimately ends in these guys' demise. But it's a whole different question if we find out there's other things involved, and again, there was enough fentanyl, 3 times the amount of fentanyl, to kill somebody. Did they think they were doing something else and didn't know the fentanyl was involved? Part of me believes that. Because who in their right mind in this day and time, with so many stories out there going around about fentanyl and how it's killing people, you can't tell me these guys knowingly took fentanyl. I don't believe that. So where did it come from? ? Now we know, we've heard drug dealers are putting it into certain things. Where did Willis obtain the drugs, or did he put it in there? Wow, I mean, this is absolutely crazy, and it drives me nuts that I can't think of what the actor's name is that played Walter White right now. I'm just looking right quick, right here. Bryan Cranston. I can't believe I couldn't think of that. Okay, so anyway, I absolutely know who Bryan Cranston is. I watched that whole show. Really damn good show. This is nuts, folks. It's nuts. And you've got to wonder, are charges coming somehow? I'm trying to remember. Hannibal Lecter actually drugged somebody before he started doing all of his evil doings to them. I can't remember who it was. I think it was the character that Gary Oldman played in Hannibal, the sequel. Verger may have been his last name, I think. Was one of his victims, actually lived, but was horribly messed up and disfigured. Wow. Nuts. This is nuts that we're even going down this road. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.